Good morning. It is Friday, August 16th, and today what I wanted to talk about were some of the ways that becoming a gaming YouTuber fundamentally shifts how you identify yourself as a gamer. Before we get into that, I do want to say I'm a little bit tired this morning, a little more so than usual, because I was up to about 1:30 last night over on the Game Looters for my first ever loot cast, and that was a tremendous time. So if you have a second to go check that out, I'll link it in the chat here in a little bit. But, we got to talk about a lot of stuff that's happening in gaming news. It was my first time over there, and one of the things I liked about it was Rax the Great was on as well, which is nice, right? Because that's not the normal environment I hang out in for a podcast. Normally I'm on the Chillcast every Friday. So, Sushi says, yep, this is my life now, waiting for Josh's 5 a.m. live streams. I'm sorry, it's like, I know it's super early, but believe me, if I could bump it up a little bit, I would. But I'm glad you're here to hang out early, and I thought you'd be super pumped. There's Animal Crossing in the thumbnail, Sushi. So... anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right into some of the ways that I think that it's changed things a bit. Hello, Dan, how are you? Normally when you play games, right, if you're a gamer, before you get into the YouTube game, I'm saying game a lot right now, but most everything you do in terms of like your collection tastes, genre preferences, like the type of games that you go after, all of that is pretty much dictated purely by your own desire, right? That's just something that is inherent to you. It's something you build up over years of figuring out what your preferences are and the games you play and the people you hang out with and what their tastes are. But then after you become a gaming YouTuber, it's weird how much some like common gaming activities, everything from like playing to pickups, sort of starts to shift a little bit in light of what you're doing as a content creator on the platform. And I was able to find a few of these that I noticed, like, I used to do things one way and now I do them a slightly different way because I'm on YouTube. So today, let's go ahead and talk about some of those things I noticed. One of the first things that I noticed is that you're constantly looking for content opportunities around everything that you do related to gaming, or at least I do. For instance, just the simple act of playing, if I'm not capturing footage while I play, I start to feel super guilty about it, because I'm like, what if I need this footage for like a montage video in the future, or what if, I want to do a review on this game, or what if I want to do like a comparison of this game to another game in the genre. So anytime I even just go to play a game, I'm constantly trying to like capture footage for it, and then, also obviously, based on what we're doing right now, you will be tempted to think like, ooh, should I be streaming this game? So everything sort of starts to become kind of centered around content creation when you're constantly in that mode of thinking like, okay, I'm a gaming content creator, so literally anything related to this hobby, I should consider if there's a content opportunity there. And it's not just playing, right? Even something as simple as like going out to like pick up new games. You ask yourself things like, ooh, should I turn this into a vlog? Should I take a picture of this for Instagram or for Twitter? Or should I like cut together something quick that I can share with people to kind of show them what I'm up to? And then the other thing that I would say is like, even if you're doing like fun like hobby activities, right? Like if I was going to change out my Joy-Con shells, now I'm like, well, I can't just change the shells, right? I have to film that and make sure it's a tremendous video. If I'm going to rearrange my game room, then I have to do time lapses and make sure that I've got footage captured for that. So that's one of the things that I noticed, is that I stopped looking through the video games through the lens of, is this just enjoyable to me, or is this something that's super rad? And then constantly looking at it through, ooh, what can I wring out of this to make something awesome, for viewers on YouTube. So that's one of the ways that I think it's changed. Another one I would say is purchases, right? Specifically for like multiplayer / multi-platform games. Jacob, what's going on, man? Sorry I missed your loot cast. Dude, it's okay. Now, I was actually just talking about that a minute ago. Sushi says, I saw Animal Crossing in the thumbnail, and I'm glad I'm part of the target audience. Yes, you absolutely are, though perhaps not in the way you'd expect, but we'll get there in a second, Sushi. So, specifically within the realm of like multiplayer / multi-platform games, it used to be fairly cut and dry for me, right? If I was going to go out and pick up a game, like multi-platforms, for example, is usually really quite clear cut. If I wanted something that was like a graphical powerhouse, then generally I was going to go for it on the PlayStation 4, because at the time the Xbox One X wasn't out yet. So especially if it was a single player experience, I would get it for the PlayStation, because that's where I was probably going to get the best experience graphically speaking. And then if it was a multiplayer game, I would be like, okay, well for this, obviously I'm going to get it for either the Xbox or the PS4, because that's where most of my friends are. Or if it was a game that particularly lent itself well to short bursts of play or portability, I mean, the Switch is the obvious candidate, but that didn't even really become a consideration until a couple of years ago. But now when it comes to multiplayer games, specifically, it's not, oh, okay, well, I'll get this because all of my real-life friends are playing this. Now it's like, I have a lot of YouTube friends that are also on the platform, so does it make sense for me to get this on the PS4 or the Xbox? And I have to sort of like do the mental math of like, who's on what platform, and then if it's big enough, I'm like, should I buy 2 copies of this game, which is borderline absurd. Normally I never would buy, two copies of the same game on two different platforms unless, there was an incredible sale or something. There was a huge draw for me to do so with like the normal, crew that I would run with and play with in real life. But that sounds so weird. It's not that you guys aren't real life, but you know what I mean? Like the people that you predominantly interact with on the internet versus like, the people that you actually know, like friends and family who might be into a particular game. Vance, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. This goes hand in hand with your video about keeping focus in your gaming channel. You have to find rad things in your area of focus. Yeah, pretty much. So now, like, if I go to buy a multiplayer game, again, it's like, if I get this for the Xbox, but Jakin gets it on the PS4, am I not going to be able to do, like, a cool collaboration or do, like, a co-op stream with, which might be cool for both of our audiences, for example. So where it used to be, again, fairly cut and dry for me in terms of what platform I would purchase a multiplayer game for, now I have to give it a little bit more consideration, right? And sometimes even before I'll make the purchase, it's not like I could just go to the store and grab it. I'll start, like, DMing people on Twitter and be like, hey, Abaddon, what are you getting this for? Or, hey, Chips, like, are you getting this game? And if so, like, where are you going to be playing it at? I think this happened with Fabian as well, GamerThumb TV, with, what was it? I don't think it was Black Ops. There was some game that we were talking about playing multiplayer. So that's something else that you sort of have to consider, because it's not just like, the people that you play with that are, friends that you just know, but then it's also like, like I do multiplayer streams every Wednesday, right? And I know that, in that realm, a lot of people that come to multiplayer streams tend to swing towards the Nintendo Switch more than any other console. So if there's a multi-platform multiplayer game, even if it looks better on another platform, sometimes it makes sense if I know it's going to be a mainstay like of every Wednesday to get it, even if it's graphically inferior on the Nintendo Switch. So that's something else that I have given a lot of consideration to. Let's see, where did I leave off here? Next is, and it's weird because this kind of feeds into the multiplayer, multi-platform conundrum, and that is that I play in offline mode more and more. Not offline necessarily, but I'll do that thing where you appear offline. And it's one of those things because, like, generally if you just play games and you've, got like a crew that you normally play with that are also into games in real life, you'll have a pretty decent sized friend list in a lot of cases, right? But then when you start throwing in a bunch of new people that you just naturally meet in the course of doing, like, just running a gaming channel, whether that's other creators or subscribers who want to play with you or whatever, it can become really, you can have a friends list that fills up super fast. And sometimes, whenever I do want to play a game and try to enjoy it just for myself, of course, even then I'm like, ooh, I should capture footage of this. I will absolutely put myself in offline mode, and it's really quite embarrassing because I do that, and then sometimes I forget to take it off, and then on the Wednesday multiplayer streams, people are like, hey, you're not showing up online, how come we can't play Smash or whatever? But you will find yourself gravitating to that more just because you don't want to be interrupted, necessarily. Like, if you have a lot of people that are hitting you up to play different games or shooting you messages or something, you might just want to chill out and play some Persona 5. Just absorb that experience as somebody who is a fan of games and give yourself a little downtime to just have fun. And I think that's really important, right? Leaving yourself some margin just to enjoy the medium without the looming threat of the opportunities that you might be missing by not crafting content around it. Jay, what's up, man? You mean by only having time to talk about video games and not having time to play them? Yes, that's something else that I should have added to this list now that I think about it. That's absolutely true, Jay. That is an excellent point. It's weird because I talk to a lot of people and they're like, I want to start a gaming channel. And I'm like, do you? How much do you love video games? Because you may be shocked and dismayed at how much less time you get to spend playing video games versus creating content around video games, which, I mean, feels completely insane, but it's true. You are not figments of my imagination, Vance. That is false. Not true. Sushi says, when your YouTube friends get Animal Crossing and you get it for PS4, we're real people too. I know you're real people too, and I'm going to get the game. I'm just not super happy about it. Why are you making that face, Beck? And thank you for stopping by it. I put myself as offline or only appear to my best friends. That's something I thought about doing. Like, there are people I would leave on the best friend list, like they can see that I'm online, but it's one of those things too that it's just like there are so many. It's where, like, I'm just so super popular online, but not really. It's just like a bunch of people that are in your Xbox Live friends list. That may be a way that I chunk it down, but that's a lot of people to sort of sort through as well. Sadazim, how are you this morning? Thank you for stopping by the stream, my friend. For me, it's pretty easy. I don't have to set myself offline. Online time zones do me favors. Yeah, no joke. Like, if I get on, just like what is a normal time for me, you're like lapsed into a coma by that point, Beck. So yeah, that's something else is that I find myself doing more and more, as I create more content and, meet new, tons new people on the platform, is I'll play in offline mode sometimes so I can really take in an experience like Persona 5, which I keep saying Persona 5 because that's what I've been playing lately. And finally, the one that I think is most relevant, or that was most relevant to the thumbnail, is I play a lot of games that I would have missed otherwise if it weren't for other YouTubers and people that I talk to on this channel all the time. One of the creators I can think of right off the top of my head was, 8-Bit Eric. He has been doing a ton of is it worth it videos for the Nintendo Switch, and those are super helpful because he shows a lot of games that I would have completely not been aware of, if I didn't know about his channel. The other thing is, if developers will reach out to you with review codes and everything, I would not have necessarily checked out that game Feather that I streamed a while back, where all you do is sort of fly around as a bird and just sort of take in the serene surroundings. That's a lot of fun. Same with Horizon Chase Turbo. Well, no, Horizon Chase Turbo, I got a review code for that, but I first learned about it through CM Retro. But again, a fellow content creator and just a really good dude, who he actually ordered the physical copy of that from Brazil, which again, I wouldn't have known that at the time that there was no way to get a physical copy unless you got the Brazilian PS4 version, although now Horizon Chase Turbo is readily available on the Switch physical. I think it's like $20 at Best Buy if you want to grab it. But yeah, games like Animal Crossing, which I'm not a fan of, and yet I have a copy right here. I'm going to play the new one when it comes out, and that is largely driven by the people in the chat. You know who you are, because I think it's going to be a stress monster, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And that's the thing. There are also, games of a less savory fare that I've also decided to give a shot because I may not have known about these games previously. But I think that's one of the advantages, because not necessarily every change in your gaming habits, I didn't mean for that thumbnail or for it to come off, and I don't think I swung it either way, really, in the way that I described it, but, they're not necessarily bad changes. Some of them are great changes. I never would have thought to indulge, like the graphic novel genre, had I not really seen the prevalence for it, among, like Backramaro or Sushi's taste, for example. Hey, NES Addict, Haze, and Azim. Peer pressure is the best. I get a fair amount of peer pressure from your guys' direction, but I'm okay with it, because I think it makes me a better person, right? Expand your horizons a bit. Long time no see, good to see you. I don't know if that was meant for me or Sad, but if it was meant for me, I agree. But I'm going to see you in like a week. Watch your mouth, YP2 G's back. 8-Bit Glitch 79 says, hey guys, good morning. How are you doing today, 8-Bit Glitch? Thank you for coming back, man. Appreciate it. How could Josh say that he's not a fan of AC while holding the game? What a monster. Because, again, this is a game that I can't remember even how I came to get this. But I can tell you it has not been played by me in years at this point, mainly because, I have a lot of disdain for the 3DS and 2DS at this point. But yeah, another, game that I would have missed out entirely, just recently, Daniel, Man of Medan, I totally didn't know that game was coming out, had seen absolutely nothing on it, and then he's like, there's an awesome multiplayer horror game coming out, right? And I probably would have missed that entirely if it weren't for Daniel. So that's, another way that I feel like, being a gaming YouTuber sort of shifts your gaming habits, right? You learn about games you might not have otherwise heard about, which is fantastic in some cases, not so great in others, but mostly great. So that's all I've got. Those are just 4 of the ways that I've noticed that it's sort of shifted the way that I approach things. It's just constantly looking for content opportunities, whether that's rearranging a room, picking up new games, playing games, obviously. It sort of shifts the way that I make my purchasing decisions for multiplayer games, because I want to make sure that I've got games that I'm going to be able to enjoy with other content creators. And, also because there's just such an overwhelming influx of new friends that you make whenever you're constantly making content, constantly networking with other creators and gamers just like you. That friends list fills up pretty fast, and sometimes you just want to, zero in a little bit, just have a little you time. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. And then finally, again, I just play games that would have been outside of my comfort zone, outside of my wheelhouse, and really learn about the existence of some of these games that otherwise I would have had no idea they were even a possibility for my gaming habits. So, anyways, I'm just curious, for any of you out there who are also gaming YouTubers, have you found that being a gaming YouTuber has shifted the way you approach video games in any way? I would love to hear about it. And now I'm going to over-caffeinate myself and just chat with you guys for about another 30 minutes or so if you've got, if you have time to hang out. So, but yeah, the Loot Cast last night, ton of fun. I had a blast hanging out with Dom and everybody. Just a very good crew over there, and they're all just incredibly well spoken. It was a very smooth podcast that just covered some of the most recent things in gaming news, including things like Nintendo, which was just has been taking down all of those music channels right now, which, again, and I said this on the cast last night, I get it from a business perspective. It's their job to protect their IP and all that stuff. But the preservationist in me hates it, because I know that, the people who create video games and video game content, or just create video games and, I guess the assets that surround it, like the music, don't always do the best job of preserving it, whereas gamers will go out of their way to make sure it's preserved, albeit in that legal gray area sort of way. And the other thing that kind of sucks is just, you know, a lot of video game music that you like to listen to isn't just readily available anywhere else. Like, even in physical form, you often can't find a physical copy of a soundtrack for a particular game. Or, you know, they definitely don't make their way to streaming service, which is the predominant way that I get all of my music, right? I'm a Spotify user, and one of the first things I do when I get on there is I go look up a bunch of, like, chip tunes and see what I can find, and you'll find stuff like the Mega Man 2 main theme, for example, or, you know, like a specific boss's theme, but it's always like a remix, right? You can never just find, like, the original music as it was and just listen to it that way. Granted, some people think it's completely insane that you would listen to video game music like that because they find it really grating, particularly music from like the 8 and 16-bit eras. But for me, I love it. I've always loved it. I will never stop loving it. What else did we talk about on the Lootcast last night? We also talked about, what was it? Basically all the specs that have come out or leaked for the PS5 and, you know, Xbox Scarlet. Which, again, I'm not a spec war kind of guy. I'm just not, you know, it's... If you just throw a bunch of, like, I like seeing numbers go up in my video games, right? I like seeing a numeric representation of how rad I am, but I don't necessarily care if someone's like, look how many teraflops it hits and look how much RAM it has. And that's the weird thing, is I work in IT, you would think that I would be just like foaming at the mouth to get that kind of information, but I'm not, because I'm more concerned about the experience, right? Like, Microsoft can pitch specs all day long, but if they don't have solid games to play on that amazing machine, it doesn't really count for much. But I don't know, I guess I'm just rambling here. Daniel's the worst. He tells you about all of these games, but he doesn't play them himself until later. I don't know. I think he's gonna do Man of Medan with man, and I think that would be super fun, right? Because it's fun streaming horror games, just fun just playing horror games, right? Some people can't stand, you know, the thought of being afraid, but for me, again, being afraid is incredible. Because when you're afraid of something or you're terrified or there's a jump scare, that's like the fastest shortcut imaginable to one of the best human emotions, and that is relief. You can't experience relief without some, like, perceived threat, right? And horror movies, horror games, haunted houses, they simulate that all day long. I think it's tremendous. It broadens your horizons, absolutely does. OMFG, don't get me started on the Fire Emblem soundtrack. Oh, I know, right? Like, I know that was one of the big ones. Like, and it's weird because Studio Nintendo / Nintendo Direct, he was on the Lootcast. He showed up later in the evening last night, and he's somebody who specifically makes content that is, you know, remixes. Like, I mean, obviously the dude's a musician. He plays his own music, but he uses that kind of stuff for reference material, so he can create these amazing covers of some of his favorite games, and that makes life a little bit harder for him. Like, that may be a minor consideration, and, you know, considering all the other aspects that make it kind of crappy, but still, I mean, it's got a bigger impact, I think, than Nintendo realizes to take a bunch of those down. Are they within their rights? Yes. As a gamer, do I like it? No. Lootcast is the best. I had a blast on there, man. I would be happy to come back if they'd ever have me. Yes, Josh, I totally feel the same when it comes to how I think about games. I almost hate it because it does take away a little of my pure enjoyment of the game. Right? Yeah, it can take away your enjoyment a little bit, especially when it's like, oh, you know, there's a game that I want to play, but, you know, I committed to working on this video and finishing it, so I've got to get this work done before I can play that game. Or if you're like, you know, you're the kind of, like a completionist streamer where you're like, ooh, I promised I would beat this game on stream with viewers, but then another really cool game comes out that you're excited about and you have less time to commit to it. Like, that can be kind of rough. Vance says, it's because of YouTube that I got me a Switch. It helps me keep my skills sharp enough to play retro games with the intensity that I do. Yeah, hey, more power to you, man. Like, retro games are no joke. Like, it's, some of those, like, I don't know how people play without save states. I thought about doing a Throwback Thursday stream, and, like, that would be a thing that I do moving forward, but only playing on the Super NIT analog, which, you know, again, is like an FPGA, you know, SNES clone pretty much, but an incredibly well-built and incredibly expensive one. But, you know, it has no, like, save state option, right? So if you play, you have to play it the way it was originally intended. So I thought about doing a Throwback Thursday without a safety net kind of thing, which I thought sounded kind of hokey, but also kind of fun. I know I have so much trouble just trying to find the Fire Emblem original soundtrack. Yeah, I knew that would bug Bag, because I know that she's had some frustration specifically with that. Sat says, I think that's the draw for good, difficult games. The high of finally beating difficult stage game. Absolutely. Like, I'm not going to say that when I beat a retro game, it's not fulfilling, or whenever I, you know, tackle a particularly difficult level. Like, I remember being just completely elated that I was able to get through the dam level in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Like, I felt super accomplished when I was about 6 years old the first time I beat that. So yes, but there's also a lot of frustration on that road. And the sad thing is as an adult, it's like I don't have as much much time as I did when I was a child. That's why, again, I don't really like 70, 80, 90 hour long epics in most cases, which sounds ridiculous because I'm like, ooh, I'm playing Persona 5. Not a short game. But generally speaking, if someone's pitching a game to me, or if the marketing for some game comes out and it's like, are you ready for a 160-hour adventure? I'm like, no, I work. I'm a functioning adult, mostly. Like 15, 20-hour adventures, definitely more within my wheelhouse than massive sprawling epics. Like either, on the spectrum, it's like, give me a game that's like 10 to 20 hours long, or give me a game like, Destiny 2, World of Warcraft, that's effectively infinite. That middle ground where it's like 200 hours of gameplay, that's just intimidating. That's a quick way to get me to like, I like the idea, but, I'm not 14, so no thanks, I don't have as much time as I used to. You have to beat the final boss to listen to one particular song, and it's not even available in the official soundtrack. I remember you mentioning that, Meg. I sometimes postpone opening a game just so I can wait until a day that I can film. Yes! That's another great one! I have games, I'm trying to think. Like, I even have some collector's edition games, like, Layers of Fear? That I haven't opened because I was like, ooh, I'm going to do an unboxing of this. Now, right now, obviously, I'm less in that mode because I'm doing the daily streams for the next 90 days through Halloween. But generally speaking, yeah, like, it can be one of those things where if you get, like, a cool collector's edition, it's like, like Days Gone. Wait, was it Days Gone? Yeah, Days Gone, I didn't open forever because I was like, I really want to film this unboxing because I had, like, it came with the statue and the patches and the stickers and all that stuff, and I filmed all of it, never made a video about it. But I put off opening it forever, which is horrible, because that's a really fun game, despite what a lot of people say. Although I saw a really interesting video the other day, and I can't remember who made it, but their position was basically that, like, Days Gone is an incredible game, you just have to play through, like, half of it to get to the amazing part. So I guess, in a way, what you could say is the developer sort of padded that game a little bit, and left the most interesting bits near the end, which sucks, because they built up hype so much for that game, particularly with, like, the hordes that would pursue you and everything, and those don't really show up immediately in the game. That's something that comes a little bit later. But I digress. Lola, no, I hate it if it's not even available. Since if you're planning on playing hard stats games, might I recommend the Super Star Wars? No, I've played Super Star Wars, at least one of them when I was a kid, and that game was brutally difficult. I will probably never return to that. Good morning, sip my coffee. Same, Mom, kinda. Animal Crossing is infinite. That's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm getting trapped by my own logic here. Animal Crossing, I suppose, is effectively infinite. Sushi, purveyor of fine video game facts. I appreciate that. Lil says, Josh, I'm trying to fix my sleeping pattern, so I'm going to sleep. Happy streaming. No worries. Get some sleep, for sure. Have a good night. And, hopefully we can play some Minecraft or something this weekend if you have some time. Morning, Second Act Fitness. Quindle, good night. So, but yeah, I mean, like, and there have been a fair amount of games that I would call infinite in nature that have sucked me in a big way. Minecraft is one of them, right? And it's so weird. Again, Minecraft, I'm super late to that party. That game came out originally, 2010, 2011, I think? And I had some friends who had it loaded up on PCs at work at the time, of all places, and they were like, come here, you gotta try Minecraft. And I tried it, and I was like, this isn't for me, because I thought the crafting was really cumbersome, and I didn't understand the appeal of, like, the graphics being, just so low res and everything. And now it's incredibly charming, and especially right now, is like the most popular game on YouTube, which, again, PewDiePie effect in action, right? But, in 2017, when it came to the Switch, me and Jason, my roommate at the time, we both got it, and then we got super into it, and I put about 100, I think I put close to 200 hours into Minecraft on Switch, but yeah, I didn't get into it until it hit that platform. Also, the whole, like, what was it? That super duper texture pack or the graphics thing that they were going to do got canceled. I was kind of bummed by that, because I thought that was going to be a really neat thing to kind of check out. It's not that I don't appreciate the charming nature of the graphics now. I do, having now, gotten the Minecraft experience, having spent a lot more time with it than I would have otherwise. But, the fact that they canceled that, I thought that was going to be a really neat way to sort of, at least as a temporary novelty, right? I'll tell you another game recently that did this for me that's also infinite is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky dropped the VR update, and I tried it, what was it, yesterday or the day before when that update dropped. I think it was the day before yesterday. And I fired it up in VR, and I have to say, it's incredible in terms of the sense of scale. Like, where before it's like, oh, there's a cliff over there, I'm just going to jetpack up it. Now it just has this incredible feel, like when you walk up to your spaceship and it just like towers above you, even though like historically you play it in the game and it looks fairly small and everything. But then when you're like in that first person view, it's incredible. But after playing in it for about, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes, I was like, yeah, this looks incredible, but I'm not going to be able to play the whole game in VR mode. It's not that it looks bad, it's tremendous, and instantly on its release became the largest VR game available, like the most expansive anyways. There is no VR experience that I'm aware of that matches the infinite nature of what you can get now in No Man's Sky. But what I can say is that, you know, the controls and the movement and everything, it's just not as fast and efficient, and that's got No Man's Sky has a bit of a clunky interface anyways, so I'm all for, you know, trying to do something new with the game or do something visually dynamic with it. But if it, you know, affects gameplay itself, probably not. No, I will say this though, if I was going to play No Man's Sky and I just wanted to like harvest resources or just zip around the galaxy and just take in the sights, then I would do VR. But if I was on a hardcore, like, okay, I'm going to build up this base and I'm going to go try to hunt down space pirates, then I'm going to, you know, build a, or buy a, like a freighter or something like that, traditional controls on the 2D plane are probably where it's going to be for me. Let's see, where are we at? Hey, oh, JST Fanatic, how are you? Thank you for coming back, man. I'm back for my third stream. Glad to see you're still on your grind. Yes, absolutely. And I will stay on this grind until Halloween. And again, sneaking suspicion that it's going to go beyond that. But, you know, one of the things I've been struggling with is trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with this format. Again, like the whole work hard, play hard thing. Like, I like giving out the tips and then doing like this group discussion type thing. But I have to wonder if, you know, it could be more, or if it should not be more. And what I mean by that is, you know, part of me likes the idea of doubling output and doing streams at 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., right? And 8 p.m. would just be fun stuff, right? Not pre-produced, at least not till after October, but that would be, you know, one way that I'm thinking about, you know, making sure there's a good balance of like, here's productive stuff, but here's fun stuff too, because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to become like dry, I guess, in terms of just being like an information channel. Like, I want to have some fun stuff here too. Actually, today is kind of an example. I thought this would be a more interesting topic than just like with straight up tips or something like that. But then the other thing that I'm thinking about is, you know, just taking this morning show, as it were, and dividing it into like 3 10 to 15 minute segments where it's like, yeah, I'll do like the tips thing, or, you know, information that I've learned in my own studies about YouTube on the, you know, for gaming channels, but then move on to just like fun stuff, like maybe talk about news, or maybe talk about you know, I'm trying to think of something else that I had in mind. I just lost it. But anyways, I'm trying to think of ways to, like, you know, spice it up a little bit. Because if I've got 90 days to play with the live stream format, I think it would be, you know, kind of a missed opportunity to not play around with it a little bit and kind of see what I could do. How far could I push this? Could this just become a regular, ongoing morning podcast type situation? I don't know. And it's weird because I, you know, specifically was like, I don't want to do podcasts. I want to do video. But now me doing video on YouTube has become kind of podcasty in nature. Like, I talked to at least 2 people who were like, oh yeah, I put you on in the background and I just listen. And I think that's both like a blessing and a curse, right? Curse because I don't get to make a bunch of fancy pre-produced stuff to go along with the live format, and you kind of have to be in the moment, you know, quick on your feet and make things interesting just, you know, with a real single camera setup. Well, I guess I could do multiple cameras, but maybe I'll make that a topic in a future video. But then, you know, the blessing of it too is that knowing that you don't have to have a lot of, you know, like visual or graphical fidelity on screen, is that, you know, somebody can, you know, drink their coffee or do something else and like kind of have me chattering in the background. So, you know, existential questions that I'm wrestling with for the future of live streaming, I guess ultimately this channel. But we'll see what happens. So that says, have you seen Star Wars VR? I saw a stream of it and it looked incredible. Are you talking about the VR experience that came with Battlefront 2? Because what's weird is I think I picked that up specifically to try it, and then I just kind of never got around to it. My buddy Kyle's like a Star Wars fanatic. He kept telling me, like, you gotta get this, you gotta try it. And I think I did get it, but I didn't try it, and we never spoke of it again. I'm sure he's incredibly disappointed in me for exactly that fact. Am I gonna dress up for Halloween? I was thinking about that. Honestly, I have no idea. If I was gonna dress up for Halloween, I don't even know what I would dress up as, right? I mean, I guess I could just go like a generic, you know, movie monster route, be like a vampire or something, but I mean, I feel like it would be more in line with the branding to do something video game related. I could just, you know, put on a cardboard box, be be Solid Snake and call it a day. Am I excited for Borderlands 3? Yes, I'm incredibly excited for Borderlands 3, specifically because, one, I like Borderlands a lot on its own merit. I love the, you know, just the visual style of it. Like, I've always been a fan of cel-shaded graphics, and, you know, I'm so glad they went with that particular approach to its presentation, because I feel like that will stand the test of time a lot better than games that are just like, ooh, ultra realism, because today's ultra realism is tomorrow's joke, right? If you try to look at games that went for the realistic look, the more you do that, like, it can be awe-inspiring in the moment when you're just like bleeding edge graphics, but then just about like 1 or 2 years later you look back and you're like, oof, that's not looking so hot. But if you go for an artistic route like Borderlands clearly has, that's a game that can hold up for years and years. And like, I got the remastered edition of Borderlands, 1 and 2 that dropped, or was it just 1? I can't remember. No, it was just 1. But I got the physical copy of that, and it looked even more tremendous. It's one of those games going to get better with age, weirdly enough. But the only thing I kind of knock Borderlands for is inventory management is still a little bit clunky for me. Like I always feel like I'm struggling with managing inventory in those games. But it's just. And I think the other thing is because they keep the graphics more stylized, they can provide a smoother multiplayer experience, which is really where Borderlands shines. And then the writing's always been, really fun and sharp, way more in 2 than 1, I would say, and ultimately hilarious. And the thing is, personally speaking, my dad is a huge Borderlands fan, so he and I are both pumped for it. Because me and my dad, we had been playing Borderlands 1, we played Borderlands 2 for a little bit. We never touched the pre-sequel, sadly, but when Borderlands 3 drops, I mean, we're both going to be all over it, and I can't wait to play that game. I think it's going to be phenomenal. What character do I think I will choose? Honestly, I'm not sure yet. I've only briefly glanced the trailers, and that's a game that I'm actually trying to go in kind of blind on. Like, I know there's the big bad is going to be a couple of twins, and I know there's bazillions of guns as per usual. That it looks utterly amazing, but I've not familiarized myself in almost any way with the character classes or what's on offer. Brandon Friesen Factor. First off, thank you for stopping by. Is this your first time here, Brandon? You've been here before. If I've forgotten, I do apologize. It happens all the time, and it's not personal, I assure you. This is a solid discussion topic. You mean Borderlands 3, or are you talking about the way that being a gaming YouTuber sort of shifts the way you approach a lot of the gaming that you would do? Diggs, what's up, man? Welcome back. How you doing this fine Friday? Personally, I'm doing wonderful, because I'm caffeinated on Beach Breeze, the Red Bull Summer Edition, which I don't know if I like it as much as the coconut, but it gets the job done. But just out of curiosity, what games are you guys most excited for? Like, what's coming down the pike that you're pumped for in either September or October? Off the top of my head, aside from Borderlands, cautiously optimistic about Astral Chain. Luigi's Mansion 3, I think I'm going to take the day off work for that because it drops on Halloween. I think I'm just going to take it off, spend the whole day possibly streaming it because I think that's just going to be just a hoot and a holler, right? I do love the adorable sort of, I don't know how to define horror in that arena. It's like that Goosebumps style horror to me, right? Goosebumps is one of my favorite horror movies because it's just like, it's like that diet horror experience, right? It's a little bit more rooted in like Halloween fun and not like straight up gore, dread, or like the kind of horrifically torturous stuff you'd see in a conventional horror flick or game for that matter. Ooh, I forgot about Catherine Full Body Premium Edition with plushie. When I went to Anime Expo, I went to the Atlas booth and I bought some merchandise. I went to the Atlas booth and I got the Joker pin. I got 2 of them. Ooh, one that I have to send a discard that I haven't sent over to him yet. He's probably not real happy about that, but I'll get it to him. I totally forgot about that. And I have Catherine for the PS3, but now I'm like, should I just ignore it because it was like rotting on the backlog? But now I'm like, should I pick up this new version? I don't know. I can't decide. When does that? Is that this month that comes out? I don't even remember. I don't think it waits till October, does it? I'll let you know after this cup of espresso. I like how you emphasize cup, because espresso is supposed to be in itty-bitty cups. I take it you have a much larger cup of espresso, Diggs. Last of Us 2, absolutely. I cannot wait for that game to drop. And my buddy Ben, who's actually a huge horror fanatic, came over the weekend, and we watched a horror movie that I'd never seen, The People Under the Stairs, which apparently a lot of people hold as like a classic. I was kind of just blown away because it was not the movie I was expecting at all. I thought this was a movie that took place in like suburbia, and it was going to be your typical like, ooh, there's something spooky in the basement. Way more disturbing movie. And Ving Rhames is in it. A much younger Ving Rhames. I was kind of surprised by that. But anyways, after we got on watching it, he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, you never played The Last of Us, right? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you're playing The Last of Us. So I made him play through that opening sequence, which, I won't spoil it, but if you ever played The Last of Us, you know that that's a pretty rough opener for a game. Kind of surprising. Jesse says, Jedi Fallen Order is what I'm excited for. I'm very curious about that. I'm not like the biggest Star Wars fan or anything, but I have intermittently had fun with Star Wars games. Specifically, and this may give you a clue of just like what an uncultured swine I am within the Star Wars arena. But Episode 1 Pod Racer for the N64, absolutely adored that game. And then The Force Unleashed, I really enjoyed. Some of the early ones I really didn't get into that much, but there were at least 1 or 2 in there that did get me. YourPlayerTwo, by the way, I think Star Wars VR was a demo. As a massive fan of X-Wings games, it was nice seeing how far the presentation come. Oh, okay. No, I was talking about, I thought there was something that was included with one of the previous Battlefronts, but maybe I'm confused. But no, I have not played it. Brent says, I've been around for a while, but I mostly lurk. Oh, right on, man. Well, if you need to lurk away. No judgment here, man. I'm just glad you're here. How being a gaming YouTuber changes your gaming habits. This is really relatable to a lot of people, and not a lot of people are talking about it. Well, I mean, I am trying to talk about it. Like I'll recap them real quick, but essentially the four big ones that I saw, and Sushi actually had a good one too. Is like you might not open a game because you want to film an unboxing or something like that, so you delay opening it, which kind of sucks if you're excited to play it. But one is, again, you're constantly looking for content opportunities around things like your gaming purchases, your gameplay habits, and everything. Multiplayer games, it becomes more of a which of my YouTube friends actually has this game, and can we create content around that? So it kind of feeds into the first one, I guess. 3 is, I think you tend to play in offline mode more and more if you want to have that kind of margin time, which I advocate for, having some downtime just to enjoy the medium of gaming. So you don't get bombarded with notifications from like viewers you might play with, or just other YouTubers that you would frequently play with. And finally, it does bring to mind a lot of games that I would not have played otherwise. When you start to really indulge and understand the tastes of your audience and other people that you hang out with online. Great movie. I was disturbed by it, and then in the middle of watching it, I was like, it's weird because recently over the summer I'd started watching Twin Peaks for the first time, and I was like, that's the dude from Twin Peaks, but I don't remember what his name was. But he was much scarier in The People Under the Stairs than Twin Peaks. Josh, that was not Discard's pin. That was my. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You guys are gonna have to do like 18 rounds of bare knuckle boxing. Whoever comes out on top, Sushi, gets the pin. Catherine releases September 3rd. Yeah, I didn't think it was as late as October. I didn't think it was this month, so I guess it was somewhere in between. Oh, you did that to your friend? Oh yeah, I did that to my friend. Are you kidding me? Because he's like a huge film buff. Like man, his name's Monster Popcorn. He has a podcast called Deadbringers Podcast that he does with his brother and a few friends, and they all kind of podcast remotely. I think on Friday nights. I'll see if I can put the link in the description later. Discard's like, we boxing hype? Yes, absolutely. But Ben is he's into movies the way I'm into games, right? Like I go over to his place, there's just thousands upon thousands of Blu-rays and DVDs and obscure movies and schlocky movie horror flicks, and he's just in trauma films and stuff. He's like, you seen this? You need to watch this. But then he comes over to my place, and it's like hundreds of games. I don't think I have thousands of games. I think I have hundreds of games. But he'll come over and just we sort of pick and choose from each other's libraries in terms of what we want to indulge. So it's very complimentary. Erno says, hello, so what's up? Hi, Erno. Hello, how are you doing this morning? Thank you for stopping by the stream. Sub-question, how did you find the stream and what led you here? I'm very curious. JC says, I have to go, but I'll be back for your next stream. Loving what you're doing. JST Fanatic, thank you so much for that, man. I cannot tell you how much words of encouragement like that mean to me, because it gets hard out here in the YouTube hustle game, right? It's easy to indulge self-doubt, question yourself, and certainly it is rough to get up at 6 a.m. every weekday and be like, all right, let's make some content, let's start streaming. But it also gives me a charge, too, not too unlike the Red Bull that I have sitting here. This gets me pumped and excited for the rest of the day, because right off the bat, I can already say, yes, I've created content. Yes, I have shown up this morning to work on my hustle and talk with people who I really care about, and have a great time talking about my favorite thing in the world, which is video games, second only maybe to Taco Bell, which is soul-crushing and depressing, I'll grant you, but that's still me. I'm doing good. I'm actually in Finland, right on. So how did you find the stream, and what time is it in Finland right now? I'm curious. Here, it's where I'm at, it's 8 in the morning, I don't know. Chris, what's up, dude? Got Rad, so I can play it the day it comes out. Ooh, see, and this is going to feed directly into today's topic. Chris, what platform did you get Rad on so we can play it together? Did you get it for the Switch, Xbox, PS4? Because that's a multi-plat release, isn't it? Also, good morning, Discard. Oh, but yes, Diggs. I totally did that to my friend. I will do that to people all the time who are like, is The Last of Us really that good? I'm like, yes, let me watch you play through the first 20 minutes or so. It's a delightfully uplifting game that's fun for the whole family. And then I'll just watch them collapse in on themselves like a dying star. Because, well, if you know, then you know. Here it's 15:40 p.m., so it's about almost 4... Wait. I'm so bad at dealing with any time that is just Eastern. So then it would be almost 4 o'clock. Almost 4 p.m. where you are. Getting close to the evening then. Or no. Ooh, we summoned Discard. A brave soul to think he has a chance at boxing against me. That's the thing, I mean, I think you're both fairly tallish people, right? With big reach, like Abe Lincoln style. So, I mean, that would be an incredible match. Although I have to give the edge to Sushi, because, I think she would fight dirty. That's what I think would happen. Or she would just make you question your entire existence with a lot of mean comments, and then the fight just sort of wins itself. For having a YouTube channel that has brought me to realize that everything you see on screen isn't always the most important. I've learned more about lighting and background settings than I ever dreamed of. Wait, was there a precursor to that statement? All I saw was for having it. Are you talking about this channel? Because I will tell you, when it comes to background settings and stuff, and I'll tell you, like, right now, for anybody here who's not, if you're somebody who collects video games specifically and you're looking for, like, great ways to display them, you need to be checking out Discart here in the chat. Let me see if I can just copy and paste that in here. Because, first off, he's a delightful human being. Second of all, he has a lot of video content that will be right up your alley. But, you know, the other thing that's great about Discard is he shares my passion for high production value. My thing is, production value will become a barrier for me, right? I was not creating content nearly as quickly as I can with the stream, but that's the balance, right? To do this, to create content value and do this every morning at 8 a.m., that's the trade-off. You know, I can't do, like, all these fancy sliding shots or optimize my lighting perfectly and everything. But it does give me a chance to, you know, kind of put some of my own hypocrisy away and actually just do more things without that fear, like, ooh, what if it doesn't look just perfect? I can't put it out. You know, I have no choice but to put it out. I've made a commitment to you, and so I have to be here. Oh, for me, having a YouTube channel has brought me to realize that everything you see on screen isn't always the most important. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I've learned about lighting and background, more about lighting and background settings than I've ever dreamed of. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I go back, I actually looked at some of my videos that I made like 9 years ago when I was just dabbling in YouTube, really, and I wasn't really taking it seriously as a YouTuber, and I cringe at how bad it was. One, just because the camera technology back then was pretty bad. Even smartphones back then were nowhere near what they are now. But then also, like, it was just like a delightful combination of every horrible visual thing that I would have fought against today. And, you know, 2019 Josh has a very different approach to framing up a shot and lighting it in background and delivery. Even my delivery was super stilted back then by my standards. Like I could get stuff out, but it still sounded like I was just in that headspace where it was like, okay, there's a camera here, I have to figure out how to speak to the camera instead of to people. And you know, I think that I've gotten better at that as time has gone on. Switch, because it's only $20 and it looks fun. I will pick. When does that launch again? I don't even remember. And I made a video where I talked about it. How irresponsible is that, Chris Levi? Let's imagine two Abe Lincolns. That's all I can see right now is just two Abe Lincolns swinging away. Good morning, Rodrigo. Thank you for coming back, man. How are you today? Appreciate it. I mean to get to a bajillion subs. Just play Minecraft, and that's, yeah. Right now, you know, it would be smart to capitalize on that wave. Like, if you're somebody who is, if you're the kind of gaming channel that does more trending content than evergreen, which is kind of the opposite of what I do here, you know, Minecraft would not be a bad wave to try to catch on to right now. I think Dragon Quest Builders 2 is getting underrated. I think that the VR, that No Man's Sky is underrated in terms of how many people are actually investigating that right now on account of the Beyond patch. So if you're somebody who's like growth hacking or looking to, you know, basically find trends that are happening in gaming right now that you can make content around and probably catch some new subscribers, those would be some things that I would check out for sure. Imagine us saying that phone camera quality was trash in 2019, and you're going to. In 2029, we're going to be looking back at videos like this and be like, oh god, what were we thinking? It was so abysmal. It's not even a hologram. YourPlayerTwo, totally understand, dude. I was like that in my early streams, stilted, nervous, and entirely too self-conscious. Right, and that was another reason that I like the idea of putting myself through this 90-day experiment, was it forces you to get better, right? Practice makes perfect. Going live, every time I do it, is scary for me, at least a little bit, but it's, you know, it's like anything else, right? The more you do it, the more you sort of build up a resistance to it, and, you know, you get stronger at it. So my theory was that my delivery would improve if I just forced myself to do it, let's see, 60 or 70 times over the next 3 months if I only do weekdays. We'll have to see. Minecraft for the win. I love Minecraft now. I was playing it with Beck the other night, and Chisu and Mara? Or was... No, I'm tired. I don't remember who I was playing with. Wait, Sushi, were you on there? Never mind. I'm gonna try not to make myself look like an idiot in the closing moments of this stream. And Erno, you aren't wrong about the Minecraft thing. Oh yeah, and again, that's the PewDiePie effect in action, right? Like that dude just decided, like, you know what, I'm gonna get back into Minecraft, and now Minecraft sales were super strong for the month. You know, again, like when you have that much influence, when you're that top of the game in terms of your industry, I mean, you know, it's sort of like Metal Jesus Rocks, and I know that Super Nintendo had done a video series talk, or no, I think it was just not a series, but I think he did 1 or 2 videos. Well, he does talk a lot about video game economics and things that influence the fluctuation of retro game values and things like that. But one of the things he had talked about was the Metal Jesus Rocks effect, where if Metal Jesus talks about a particular retro game, you will see the price of that game start to go up, and you know, among like secondhand sites and in game shops. You know, if he talks about a game, he's like, "Ooh, this is awesome!" Like a game like Faxanadu, which previously may have been, you know, in wider circulation and readily available. Even if that's the case, you'll see those games start to rise in price a little bit. Ginger Fox, yes. Oh, don't tell Ginger Fox I said that, okay? Sushi, I need you to keep this between you and me, okay? Right. Good talk. Minecraft server time for the channel? Wait, are you asking me like when we would be playing it, or are you asking me if I have a Minecraft realm? I'm not sure I'm following you there. Unless that's Minecraft lingo that I just don't know because I'm, you know, too amateur hour over here. Yes, hooray for secrets. I also need you guys to keep the secret that this game is in my collection now. Originally, it was a setup for a gag that I'm not going to spoil because I have another collaboration in mind with the person that I was gonna do this with. But I haven't opened it yet, so I have no idea what to expect. I have some idea what to expect as a Samurai Kagura game. But don't tell anybody, okay? This is a family-friendly channel, you guys. Savage. Am I playing on PS4? Minecraft? Yes, I can play on PS4. I have Minecraft on PS4, Xbox, and Switch. Also, I have a realm, a YourPlayerTwo realm, where people could go in there. Theoretically, well, I don't know. It'll only support up to 2 or 3 players right now, I think. I don't think I paid to get the 10 players because at the time, I didn't have that many people that were interested in hanging out in a YourPlayerTwo realm. I may now. At this point, I may have to bump up that subscription so it's more accessible if a lot of people are really into it. I tried Peach Ball 2 days ago. I haven't played it yet. How was your experience, Dis? I'll live vicariously through you since I haven't opened it yet. Maybe I shouldn't open it. Maybe it'll be an amazing collector's item, you know? Maybe I'll save some face and indeed some dignity by not playing Samurai Kagura. I feel like that's a questionable purchase. Whatever, be still, my beating heart. I'm sorry I've let you down, Erno. I will work on my Minecraft knowledge. At least it's not show Aniki? What's that? I'm not familiar with that at all. See? Learning new things. What if that game that you're referencing, Sad, is the best game I've never played, and now I have to do it? Now that game has to be on my radar. Joe Aniki. Hold on. Is a Japanese video game series originally developed by Messiah and published by NCS Corp. The game was first released in 1992. Maybe I'll just do an image search to get an idea of what I'm supposed to expect here. Huh. You know what? Now that I think about it, I may have seen bits of this game before. I don't think I would stream that, but I'm definitely curious. I learned something new today, you guys. But I'm probably not going to go out on Twitter and be like, Cho Aniki, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong, is a fantastic new title. Well, not really new, I guess, but that I learned about thanks to my good friend Sad Azim. You use a pinball to bring back the memories of your friends is the family-friendly synopsis of that game. I look, you're like the family-friendly synopsis, right? Like that's the spin, I guess. No pinball pun intended. Not as good as I'm gonna finish School Days, but again, like I even saw Tark's Gauntlet because he was tweeting me about it and saying like, you know, it's not the best anime I think, but you know it's notorious for a reason, but I'm not seeing what that reason is. As far as I can tell, it's just a delightful high school drama, and I'm not really seeing anything, you know, particularly noteworthy, but I'm gonna tough it out because you tell me to, Sushi. Vance says Choaniki is a PC Engine mini game too, a system I have no experience with, but I wouldn't mind getting some experience with. And San says, I've streamed the PS1 game, it uses digitized graphics. I will have to check out your channel and see if I can see it then. I'll just open you up in a new tab real quick. And I will save that for later. The actual game, when you do finally get to it, is all the crazy Japanese madness you'd expect, but not great. You're talking about for Peach Ball? It looked dynamic and mildly amusing. Not purely for the reasons that I think most people would play a game like this, but honestly, I can't even deride anybody, right? Like, I have Peach Beach Splash as well. I think. Is that the one I have? Yes, and actually, you know, I have, what is it? Senran. Estivus Versus? Is that what it was? For the Vita? Estival Versus, I said it wrong. I do have that. I look up Shoninki and I see a lot of muscles and minimal clothing. Yeah, I think somebody, what was I gonna say? I think there's I'm not gonna Google Senran on the work computer anymore, I don't think. I'm gonna back off on that. Nathan, how you doing this today, man? Sorry. Not really morning for you, right? Like mid-afternoon? Flexi with Peach Beach Splash. One day you and I will play Peach Beach Splash together, and it's going to be amazing, Discard. Am I super late? Not super. Well, I mean, comparatively maybe, but you know, you can always watch the recap, right? So it's no major loss, Nathan. I mean, you can always watch it later. And again, like, I know people are in different time zones. Like, I'm amazed Sushi is here. It's 5:50 in the morning for her right now. I appreciate it immensely. You could do any number of things with your morning, Sushi. You could go to a Starbucks, assuming they were open that early, but you probably have like 24-hour coffee shops near you anyways. You know, but you choose to hang out here, and I appreciate that immensely. Retro Hack, how you doing, man? Thank you for swinging in. What you been up to? I will watch these for sure. They are great while I'm editing. Right on, man. Yeah, like, again, I'm still working out the format and figuring out exactly how it's going to continue. And I'm really excited to do a comparison of the first morning stream that I did, like, last week, with the final morning stream that I'll do. I guess it will be on Halloween, right? Because that's the length of this experiment. I would be curious to see how much it changes and how much the format gets modified, or what technical improvements I can make to the stream in that time. Because, you know, I've got nothing but time to sort of grind it out, right? If my primary focus is live stream content, then the time that I would have spent, you know, working and stressing over, like, oh man, I gotta make sure that I, you know, film 5 videos back to back, import all that footage, and then edit all of it, and, you know, kind of get it out to the world. I have nothing but time to just think about ways to improve the stream and indulge other meta activities that I have to do for the channel. Things like, well, watching other YouTubers, right? And then also, you know, just studying, you know, shifts in things like the algorithm, or, you know, what's happening in the YouTube space, new features that get rolled out. Just doing general research and book reading from entrepreneurs like Pat Flynn, Gary Vee, Sean Cannell, Benji Travis, you know, all of these guys that have really good information that, even if it's not directly applicable to YouTube, or if that's not what they're referencing directly, usually some incredible nuggets of wisdom that you will find can be applied to the act of content creation, serving an audience, building a community, all these kinds of things. A way that streaming has changed my gaming habits is that if I play and I'm not streaming, I hit the record button. Being able to record for just in case something cool happens, yes! Again, I do that constantly. I'm like, I don't need to record Persona 5, but then I'm like, but what if something amazing happens and I want to turn it into a meme for Twitter? It's currently 1:51 p.m. and I'm making a homemade pizza. That sounds delightful. I personally will probably get pizza tonight because you've just enticed me. So I was going to do Chipotle, but now you've got me thinking in an entirely new direction. Thank you for that, Nathan. Today I actually don't have class, but I've been conditioned to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm so sorry. I contributed to this in some small way, I think. Erno says, why do people hate Minecraft in 2016? It was still a good game. I have no idea. Like, I didn't love it, but I saw the appeal when I didn't get into it in, like, 2011, 2012. 2017, I was like, this is tremendous. Like, I couldn't get enough of Minecraft. Like, it's incredibly fun. And anytime someone's like, hey, you want to play Minecraft? I'm like, yes. Let's make a whole evening out of it. It's just delightful and chill and all the good things that I love. Time to go to work. Wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful Friday, Rodrigo. Thank you again for hanging out. Enjoy your work day. Hopefully it ends quickly, and your weekend is also a magical and joyous place. So that says the 6:53 p.m. here. I think I need to go make dinner soon. Right now, actually, I need to drop off here anyways. Work's going to be starting for me in about 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. But thank you guys, as always, for coming to hang out here in the morning with me. Again, this is going to be happening every weekday, 8 a.m. Eastern. So, you know, we'll have more content on Monday. And one of the things I'm going to be talking about next week whenever this picks back up is gaming channel gear ranked in terms of importance. And what I put at number 1 is probably not what you think it's going to be. I will say that. This was an idea that I had this morning, and I'm really pumped to flesh it out a little bit and talk about it probably on Monday or Tuesday. So if I don't talk to any of you, please have a delightful, wonderful weekend. I hope your Friday night is absolutely killer. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Take care.